What is the scariest film that doesn't resort to cheap jump scares? Misery, no need for jump scares. The terror comes from Annie's swift changes in mood, and suddenly you find yourself fearing for Paul's life. The book is like that as well. Even when she's being sweet, you're on edge because you know she'll change in a snap. Such a haunting book. Need to see the movie. Kathy Bates nailed it. There are two people in Hollywood who ruin themselves for future roles by playing a monster too well: Anthony Hopkins and Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates seems to have really found her niche in American Horror Story. Love all her Oz characters. I thought she was really funny on The Office too. Indeed. Also Waterboy. She has that honesty that some actors have that even though I recognize her face, I don't have trouble seeing her as the character she's portraying. Vicky Valancourt as the Devil. I like Vicky, and she liked me back. And she showed me her boobies and I liked them too. Silence of the Lambs. Most of the violence isn't even on the screen. But because we don't see it, we started putting it together in our heads. Hopkins and Foster sucked me into that movie and had me looking over my shoulder for days. It has been a good long while since I have felt the presence of evil so manifestly demonstrated as in the first appearance of Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs. He stands perfectly still in the middle of his cell floor, arms at his sides, and we sense instantly that he is not standing at attention, he is standing at rest, like a savage animal confident of the brutality coiled up inside him. His speaking voice has the precision of a man so arrogant he can barely be bothered to address the sloppy intelligence of the ordinary person. The effect of this scene is so powerful that it underlies all the rest of the movie, lending terror to scenes that do not even involve him. Roger Ebert. Anthony Hopkins had only 16 minutes, some say even less, of screen time and won an Oscar for it, one of the shortest. He played the part so well. I'm also a fan of the TV series Hannibal, not quite as good as Hopkins, but Mads Mikkelsen plays the character pretty well too. I expected to hate the TV series. But Mads did a great job concealing the monster that his character was with a serene and confident exterior. Some of the CGI and first season Killer of the Week stories weren't great, but overall it was far too good and high concept for network television. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those long, still shots where the horror just comes into frame and you are helpless and can only sit and watch as it unfolds. Talk about a movie that's hard to watch again. Just because of the sense of impending dread. You just feel greasy watching that movie. Greehee-heezy. Duck and Right, Boys. Canadian Trailer Park Massacre. Halifax Cheeseburger Massacre. Dartmouth Cheeseburger Massacre. Cheeseburger Picnic Massacre. Mustard Tiger Massacre. John Carpenter's The Thing. Hands down the best acting by a dog, ever. Just re-watched this last night on a whim. And goddamn is that dog perfectly creepy. From what I understand, that dog was acting like that because it was half wolf and in a terrified state. It was confused and scared, so it went into super quiet stealth mode. From what I understand, that dog was half alien and bursting open. It was wanting to kill people, so it went into super splatter mode. Jacob's Ladder. Without a doubt, the most thrilling horror movie I've seen. There are a few jump scares, but in the context of Jacob's Ladder they don't seem cheap and they are legitimately unsettling. I've bought a cheap Jacob's Ladder and I agree they are surprisingly unsettling. What is happening? Is it flipping? Flowing? Falling? Damn this mystery object. 1 hour photo, Robin Williams is a nightmare. Worked as a CVS photo technician when this came out. It was extra creepy for me because I realized how easy it would be for someone to be like that. I had been working there less than a year and already had so many people that I knew much of their family history and insight into their family vacations. Now Mark Zuckerberg is everyone's photo technician. We need to talk about Kevin. Don't look up anything about it, just watch it. More horrifying than scary, though, TBH. Edit ducked up the title. Edit 2 should be on Netflix, Us, anyways, for those who want to watch it. The Day After 1983, from IMDb, a graphic, disturbing film about the effects of a devastating nuclear holocaust on small-town residents of eastern Kansas. Filmed almost like a documentary on the effects of nuclear war. Edit. People have been asking where to find it. Try YouTube, youtube.com. If you like The Day After, you will love Threads, which is the British equivalent. Well, maybe love is the wrong word. Also When the Wind Blows, the saddest cartoon movie ever. Although the second half of the movie resorts to some cheap scares, the first half of The Descent is terrifying. Okay, I literally just said the big jump scare in The Thing was the best of all time. But I take it back. The one in The Descent is the best of all time. It was literally the climax of the movie. I didn't know what it was about before I saw it. First half builds anxiety with touches of eerie and possible fantastic elements, and right after that scene, everything devolves to a rush of adrenaline. I love this movie. On subsequent watches you'll notice that a lot of the cave creatures are visible in the cave before the big reveal. Usually only partially or for a second, so they look like normal cave fauna to the unaware. Good movie. Normal cave fauna which is still ducking horrifying. The Shining. While less scary and more intense and dreadful, it's still awesome. Coraline, that movie is scary. Making up a song about Coral 5-5ing. First half of this movie I was like, PSHHH, this shit is for kids. Was my friend High recommending this as a scary movie? Second half of the movie had me on the edge of my seat and gave me the kind of goosebumps that last for hours after it was over. Say 7N, David Fincher. Saw it when I was 12 or something, barely slept for a week. Sesavenen. Sesavenen 2, The Sesevening. Say 7N2, A8HT. Not a movie but a TV series called Black Mirror. The episodes are like an hour long, and focus on technology and psychological torment. Totally a ducked-up show. For those who don't know, the show got its name from the way our devices resemble black mirrors when they aren't active with their screens locked. Welp, I learned something neat today. Event Horizon. Sam Neill's a legend. Frailty. Watched it with not one clue what it was about. Ducked me sideways. The Conjuring. Only because at my grandma's house she literally had that same exact ducking doll in her guest room. That I slept in. Eraserhead gave me nightmares for a couple of days. Eraserhead just confused the duck out of me. I would go so far to say that I am still confused 3 years later. Antichrist. I will never unsee that movie. Chaos Reigns. Edit. I wanted to add that besides the grotesqueness of some scenes in the movie, it is probably one of my favorite films based on aesthetics alone. Dat cinematography. The Machinist. It's not even a horror movie. The Last House on the Left. The 70s one is great, but the remake is pretty solid too. The idea of knowing your temporary houseguests harm someone close to you is an interesting idea. Made me think about what I might do in that situation. Old Boy is a good example of this too. The more you think about it, the scarier it becomes. Prisoners. It had me terrified and on the edge of my seat the entire movie. It was every parent's nightmare. I am not even a parent and I was worried for my children. Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal. Audition by Takashi Mike. Edit, Takashi not Takeshi. Black Swan. A slow descent into madness is creepy and realistic and totally within the realm of possibility for most people. The Girl Next Door. Not the comedy one, the other one loosely based on Sylvia Likens. Poor girl got mutilated and raped to death, orchestrated by someone who was supposed to be a caregiver. I don't find movies like this scary. I'm not on edge or afraid, just disgusted and sad. Zodiac scared the absolute duck out of me. That last scene when they're in the basement was the scariest ducking scene I've ever watched. And nothing happened. It was just the tension and the realization of standing in a room all alone with a killer. I drew those posters. By the way, that's the guy who voiced Roger Rabbit.